The Wooden Heart. On a stormy night in a small Italian village, the winds howled through the cobblestone streets, rattling shutters and bending trees under their relentless force. Geppetto, a lonely woodcarver, worked tirelessly in his humble workshop, the faint glow of his oil lamp illuminating his wrinkled face. His hands, rough and calloused from years of carving, delicately shaped a piece of fine pine wood into the likeness of a boy. This was no ordinary puppet. This was Pinocchio, a creation born of Geppetto's deepest longing to fill the aching void in his life caused by years of solitude and loss. The puppet's features were remarkably lifelike, bright painted eyes that seemed to hold a glimmer of mischief, a carefully sculpted nose, and a small, serene smile. Geppetto sat back in his chair and sighed, his heart heavy. "If only you were real," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. He placed his hands together in a prayer-like gesture and whispered to the heavens, "If there is magic in this world, grant me this one wish. Let this puppet become my son." As he drifted off to sleep in his chair, the room grew still, the only sound being the crackle of the dying fire. But then something extraordinary happened. A soft blue light filled the workshop, emanating from nowhere and everywhere at once. The light danced over Pinocchio, who lay lifeless on the workbench, and for a brief moment it seemed as though the puppet's chest rose and fell, as though it were breathing. When Geppetto awoke the next morning, he was startled to find Pinocchio standing upright, his wooden joints creaking as he moved. "Papa," the puppet said in a hollow yet oddly endearing voice. Geppetto gasped, his heart racing with a mixture of joy and disbelief. His wish had been granted. Pinocchio was alive. At first, life with Pinocchio was everything Geppetto had dreamed of. The boy brought laughter and energy to the once quiet workshop. He was curious and playful, often peppering Geppetto with questions about the world outside. But it wasn't long before Geppetto realized that Pinocchio's newfound life came with its own set of challenges. The puppet's curiosity often led him into trouble, and his penchant for mischief was matched only by his inability to tell the truth. Each lie he told caused his nose to grow, a magical consequence that served as both a punishment and a reminder. Despite these flaws, Geppetto loved Pinocchio dearly. He tried to guide the boy, teaching him the importance of honesty and responsibility. But Pinocchio's heart was restless. He yearned to explore the world beyond the village, to experience life in all its forms. "I want to be a real boy, Papa," he said one evening as they sat by the fire. "I want to feel the grass under my feet and the sun on my face." Geppetto sighed, his eyes filled with a sadness that Pinocchio didn't yet understand. "Being real isn't as simple as you think, my boy. It comes with joys, yes, but also with pain and hardship. Are you ready for that?" Pinocchio nodded eagerly, his painted eyes gleaming with determination. Geppetto couldn't bring himself to dampen the boy's enthusiasm. "Very well," he said. "But remember, the path to becoming real is not an easy one. It requires courage, kindness, and above all, honesty." Pinocchio's journey began the next day. Geppetto packed him a small satchel with provisions and gave him a warm embrace before sending him off. "Be careful, my son," he said, "and always follow your heart." As Pinocchio ventured out into the world, he quickly discovered that it was far more complex and dangerous than he had imagined. The bustling marketplace was a cacophony of sights, sounds, and smells. Merchants shouted to advertise their wares, children laughed and played in the streets, and the aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air. Pinocchio marveled at it all, but his wonder soon turned to confusion when he encountered a group of boys playing dice in a dark alley. "Hey, wooden boy," one of them called out. "Wanna join us?" Pinocchio hesitated. Geppetto had warned him to stay away from troublemakers, but his curiosity got the better of him. "What are you playing?" he asked. "It's a game of chance," the boy said with a sly grin. "If you win, you get a prize. If you lose, well, you just try again." The boy's laughter was infectious, and Pinocchio found himself drawn in. He played round after round, losing every time. When he finally ran out of coins, the boy's demeanor changed. "Looks like you're out of luck," one of them sneered. "But maybe we can take something else as payment." Before Pinocchio could react, the boys grabbed his satchel and ran off, leaving him alone and penniless in the alley. His wooden shoulders sagged as he realized his mistake. Geppetto had trusted him, and he had let his father down. Pinocchio's misadventures didn't end there. He encountered a sly fox and a cunning cat who promised to make him rich if he planted his remaining coins in the Field of Miracles. "Money grows on trees there," the fox said with a wink. Desperate to prove himself, Pinocchio followed their advice, only to find himself tricked and left for dead. As Pinocchio lay in the cold, dark forest, he began to understand the weight of Geppetto's words. The world was not as kind or simple as he had imagined. He felt a pang of guilt as he thought about his father, who was surely worried sick about him. Just when Pinocchio thought all hope was lost, a soft light appeared in the darkness. It was the Blue Fairy, her ethereal form glowing with a serene radiance. "Pinocchio," she said gently, "you have strayed from your path, but it is not too late to make amends." The fairy's presence filled Pinocchio with a sense of hope and determination. "I want to be a better son," he said. "I want to make my father proud." The Blue Fairy smiled. "Your heart is in the right place, but actions speak louder than words. You must prove your worth through courage, kindness, and honesty." With the fairy's guidance, Pinocchio found his way back to the village. He apologized to Geppetto, who embraced him with tears of relief. "You're my boy," Geppetto said. "No matter what, I will always love you." But Pinocchio's trials were far from over. The sly fox and cunning cat returned, this time with a more sinister plan. They lured Pinocchio to a carnival run by a man named Stromboli, who saw the living puppet as the ultimate attraction. Stromboli promised Pinocchio fame and fortune, but it wasn't long before the boy realized he was little more than a prisoner, forced to perform night after night. Pinocchio's time at the carnival was harrowing. He witnessed the cruelty of Stromboli and the suffering of the other performers, many of whom were trapped just like him. But even in the darkest moments, Pinocchio's resolve grew stronger. He began to see that being a real boy wasn't about physical transformation. It was about the choices he made and the person he became. With the help of a kind performer named Lucia, Pinocchio devised a plan to escape. Together, they outwitted Stromboli and freed the other captives, bringing the carnival's reign of terror to an end. Pinocchio returned to Geppetto, his heart full of gratitude and newfound wisdom. The Blue Fairy appeared once more, her expression one of pride. "You have shown great courage and kindness, Pinocchio," she said. "You have proven that you are worthy of becoming real." With a wave of her wand, the transformation began. Pinocchio's wooden body shimmered and softened, his joints becoming flesh and blood. When the light faded, he stood before Geppetto as a real boy, his eyes brimming with tears. "Papa," he said, his voice trembling, "I'm home." Geppetto embraced his son, his heart overflowing with joy. The journey had been long and fraught with hardship, but it had brought them closer than ever before. Together, they faced the future with hope and love, knowing that the bond they shared was unbreakable.